This one is hot and sizzling.
Get up in it, start her up, get a washed off, I'm a roller up.
Did you get that link I sent you? Do you think that works?
No, I just fixed my problem.
Oh, cool.
But anyways, fuck all that. Let me
right.
take my hit and let's get into the show.
All right.
You out there? Louder! Clap your hands to what he's doing.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct from
At the Las Vegas, sunny Southern California.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct from Detroit, Michigan. Direct from
At the Las Vegas, sunny Southern California.
ladies and gentlemen, direct from Detroit, Michigan. Direct
At the
from
Las Vegas, sunny Southern California.
direct. What's this?
It's really exciting how the gang is excited about helping out and coming on the podcast.
I know, right? A lot of people are interested, man. Skeptoid, Napalm, PGFL 1988. A bunch of guys are really interested.
And we got Skeptoid. He's actually ready now, isn't he?
Can we bring him on?
Yeah, let me get him on here.
All right.
Yeah. So, anyways, what's going on with you, man? How are you?
Me? I'm cool, man. Relaxed, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. How was your day?
My day was awesome, man. I took my dog to the beach, man. We had a true spring break beach day.
Awesome.
Hey guys,
He's here.
What's
I'm
up, Skeptoid?
not much.
How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. First, I just want to say, Spike Legend, thanks for making all this possible, organizing it, and kind of getting it going. I think this is a great idea for Spikednation because it's such a. I mean, it's not a tiny community, but it's like a small enough community that this it really has value. So it's really awesome.
Right. There was another guy, 40 Licks, who started doing this a couple of years ago, and he did a bunch of them. And also Vanek and I did a couple too, but it just kind of, it got the site was really excited over it all, and it had a lot of activity that was that was a result of it. And then they just all went away. We all just stopped, and then the site just got really, really quiet for a long time.
You know what, you guys? I see that happen to a lot of YouTubers. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. They'll make videos for like 2 years in a row, like every week consistently. Then all of a sudden, they just quit doing it.
Right.
You know? And it really makes me wonder, like, people in Hollywood or like actors and stuff, they do the same thing, man. They'll go for like 2 years and just stop. And who's perpetuating all that, Do they get bored in the media? Because, they always say the media is lying to everyone. You think they get sick of it after a while.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because that I don't know if you guys are familiar with that YouTube channel H3H3, and also they're also known as I think it's what's his name, Ian and Ella. Anyways, they would put up these videos like every 2 days. They were doing these satires of all kinds of things, like the Fine Brothers thing and all this. And it was every day, and then all of a sudden they stopped. And then a few weeks went by, and they came back to do a special video to say they'd run out of ideas.
Wow.
I don't think.
Yeah, it does it.
So Skeptoid.
Yeah.
So you're a newer face to the group, right?
Well, actually, I started watching Spiked Humor, looking around on Spiked Humor back in 2004 when I was in between high-tech jobs. And I was working as a security guy. I was doing the night shift at CBC Television. And so all night long I had a computer. I had like certain patrols I had to do, but for most of the night I sat there and I looked at a bank of security cameras, and I had a computer in front of me. And so I had from like 11 to 7 in the morning to just kill time. And thank god for spiked humor. At the time, it was called spiked humor because the way that they aggregated some of the best videos, and I would just spend all night, just kind of going through everything
Right.
on there. And then in 2012, I decided to just to get an account and start posting and commenting. So I've been around for 11, 12 years, but I've only been active for like three or four.
Nice. I was telling Andy about that earlier, how amazing spiked humor was.
Oh yeah.
It was just there were so many more people, and there were just so many more videos, and the quality of videos were just amazing.
Yeah, I remember Spiked Humor was the first place the Iraq War was at its peak, and there was like all these videos of like battles and like the jihadists taking videos, and you'd look at those, and then you get videos of like kind of embedded reporters and guys with the U.S. Army, and it was just gave me access to stuff I couldn't get access to anywhere else.
Right.
Unless you search forever on YouTube. So it was really cool.
Right. Yeah, man, it was a sad day when that site went away.
Yeah, I was glad that it came back sort of as Spikenation. I never really knew the details of the background of who ran that site, and I guess it was a for-profit site, right? And then now,
well, I don't think it started off that way. I think it was just a site similar to the way Spikenation is now, and it got to be so popular that it then became a for-profit site. Crave Online bought it.
Right.
And then it was just almost like corporate run.
Do you know what led to it being shut down?
No idea.
Mm.
But the traffic, there was plenty of traffic on that site. They just pulled the plug on it one day.
That's weird.
Crave Online did.
Well, I guess it's continued in a way as Spike Nation, and I agree with you that there are these. It seems like Spike Nation has spurts of activity. There will be a few days where it seems like nothing much is going on, and then all of a sudden you get like 10 videos, 6 of them are really good, and then another few days of quiet, and on and on.
Right. So where are you from?
So yeah, I'm from Waterloo, Ontario. So that's just about 75 kilometers west of Toronto. It's in the southern part of Ontario, so it's pretty, the weather's pretty mild here. We do have a winter. Andy was asking before about, because he mentioned Northern California, and I said, I think the southern tip of Ontario lines up with the northern tip of California. It might be a bit more north. And so Andy was saying, it must get warm there. And, down in Niagara, Niagara Falls, right there on the U.S. border, there's this huge area of wineries where they grow grapes, and it's where all the ice wine comes from. Where what they do is they wait until the first frost, and then they pick all the frozen grapes, and that's what they make the ice wine out of. And that stuff's like the nectar of the gods for me. I love that stuff, but it's really expensive. Like a small bottle, I'm talking about half the size of a normal bottle of wine. It's like $50. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's like a delicacy. If you ever have $50 to blow, I'd recommend giving it a try.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm totally a wine drinker these days too.
Yeah,
I had to put down the hard stuff and go into preservation mode so I can live to be old one day.
Well, women really dig it too because it's something different and special and a little expensive. So if you ever have a special girl and you want to do something special, like on her birthday or whatever, make a basket of gifts. You shove one of those, the bottle of one of those in there, and she'll be thrilled.
Right. Totally. So, Andy, are you still here?
Yes, I'm still here, Anthony.
What are you
Sorry,
doing?
it seems like I'm just dying over here, but I'm here, man.
that maybe you got disconnected from us.
Yeah. Well, my question to be is, who owns or uploaded or controls Spikednation.com? Like, who made all the HTML interviews for it?
That's a good question.
Because they did a really good job.
Yeah, they did.
Any question like this will be. Flynn said he's interested in coming on the podcast, so whenever we get him, you can ask him anything related to Spike Nation. He is Mr. Spike Nation.
Because, I was looking at, let's just say you click on your account, and you want to track to see if anyone else has commented on any video that you've commented on. So you click on your browser, and it goes there, and you check it, and then when you click back, it knows that you've already checked it, so it doesn't tell you to go do it again. Someone had to write all that code in there,
Right.
So they did a good job on that.
Yeah. What's the other guy's name? I do know the name of the guy who actually is the man behind the coding and everything. I don't remember his name though.
Coding's so hard, man.
It's the one thing I never learned to do. I don't know how to code. I know a little bit of HTML, but I work in high tech, and I'm in marketing, and those programmers, they're just it's like a whole other universe.
Wow.
It is, man. It's overwhelming, man, how much they advance it.
Yeah. I was going to say about the moderators, I always forget there's moderators on Spike Nation, and then every once in a while one of them posts a comment in the comment log, and I'm reminded that there are actually moderators. But they're pretty good at just leaving everything alone,
Oh, totally. Yeah. Totally. They don't bother people.
Yeah.
So people become bothersome to others.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some videos that have caught your attention recently?
For me, Skeptoid speaking, the Trump stuff, I know it's totally oversaturated in the media, but this sort of all these videos where people are trying to figure out what the fuck's actually going on.
Right.
And they're all coming at it from different angles. Those things really fascinate me, and I like the ones that are there's a recent one that just went up that said something like jihad, Trump, and freedom, or something like that. And it was a guy's analysis of. It was really interesting because he used Japan as an example of a really homogeneous society. That it's true because they're very homogeneous. It's like 97% Japanese. Their culture is different. They have. I wrote a paper on it in university in anthropology. I did really well, but their culture is so homogeneous that it's completely different the way things work out. For the most serious crimes like rape, murder, and theft, they have something like a 95% confession rate. People just confess. They just confess when they do wrong things out of the shame of having done. Yeah, and they also have the lowest, the smallest sentences. If you when they get to court, there's no jury. There's just a judge. I think they're trying to get juries. They may have already done it, but the whole point of the court case is not for the prosecutor and the defense to lie to each other as much as possible until one of them wins. The whole point of the court case is for everyone to try to figure out what actually happened. And then it's just totally different. And so the guy's already confessed 95% of the time. So the court case, in court, it's just they're trying to figure out what the mitigating circumstances were and all that. And then they have they have the lightest sentences for serious crimes and the highest conviction rate and the highest confession rate. So it's fascinating. The downside of being a completely homogeneous society is that they can be pretty nasty to people from the outside, and that's changing. It's changed over the last 3 decades.
So?
Well, they've got a small minority in Japan, which, if I remember correctly, it's kind of a mix. It's like a mixed race of Japanese and Chinese, and they have historically treated this small 3% minority very poorly. Kind of like second-class citizens, outsiders, even though they live there. They're you know what I mean? It's subtle. It's not overt. They're like you outsider. But you won't get be treated as politely at a business. You won't maybe get your what you need as quickly as a pure born, to put it in quotes, Japanese citizen. I mean, so there are downsides to being a minority in a homogeneous society. So it's kind of interesting to think about the pros and cons of that. So that's what interests me on Spike. What I love about Spikednation is getting to see all these different perspectives, and I like the videos that are thoughtful and analytical. And there's a whole other sphere of videos there that are kind of more crude and seem to be provocative, seem to be kind of designed just to offend or to push buttons. And sometimes they push my buttons, and sometimes I don't. I'm not even vested in whatever the issue is, but I just get pissed because I can see they're trying to push buttons, and I don't like. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I like it when people are trying to, at least, even if they're on opposite sides, figure out what is going on. Yeah. So that's my preference.
That is Spike Nation 101 right there.
So you've been a big Ron Paul fan for how long now?
Since 2008, since 2007, when he showed up on the scene, and I'm Canadian, so I have a lot of license to support people for reasons that may not necessarily be for the reasons why an American might support them, right? Like, from my perspective as a Canadian, I've always felt like Canada is best off when the United States is the country that it's supposed to be, that it was always designed to be. And when I see America kind of going off the rails, it scares me, because I know how much my country owes its safety to the U.S. We get a lot of our entertainment and our culture, a lot of our ideas are influenced by the U.S., but we are also our own distinct kind of culture. So, like, from my perspective, Ron Paul really, to me, seemed like a guy who would at least pull back a little bit on the reins of the United States kind of changing too quickly into something else. I don't like change and uncertainty. I like the U.S. I'm used to, and that's because of how much I admire you guys down there in the country and what it does for my country. So that's the kind of perspective I'm coming at. So when I'm supporting Ron Paul, the biggest reason I support him is his integrity. Integrity means a lot to me. Even if you don't agree with someone, if they have integrity, at least you know where they stand. And then from there, the two sides can work things out. But when you've got someone on either side that lacks integrity, that's like a flag that just blows whichever way the wind is blowing, it makes it so much more difficult to actually accomplish things. So that's the main reason why I support Ron Paul. His foreign policy is a big deal to me. His domestic policies and his take out all the regulations, that's not as big for me as his foreign policy and his morality and his kind of integrity.
Yeah, did you get a chance to meet Ron Paul?
Never met the man. I did follow both his campaigns very closely, though. In 2012, I thought for a little bit. I know it's crazy. It was crazy, but I thought for a little bit that he might beat Romney. Like there was a few of those primaries where he was close, and then they did some shenanigans, and he lost there near, sort of close to near the end. And when that happened, I left my picture up as Ron Paul 2012, just kind of a bit of an irony and a bit of a protest.
I kept my Ron Paul bumper sticker on my bumper for a very long time, even after the election.
Yeah.
Danny,
I met him.
Danny, are you speaking into your mic? It doesn't sound as clear as it did earlier.
Oh, whoops, sorry. How about now?
Yeah.
It's better?
It's better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was fortunate. I was able to meet Ron Paul briefly and shake his hand. That's about it, though.
Oh, wow.
I went to one of his rallies, and I just went up to him, shook his hand. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Nice.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy, that Ron Paul, man. He seemed like a real American president, too, because he just wanted to uphold the Constitution and limit government and give people freedom and sound money and things like that.
Yeah, and the thing I always said was, even if some of his policies seemed kind of out there and unrealistic, because he was committed to going through Congress, he wouldn't be able to actually enable or implement crazy, batshit crazy stuff, because he would abide by whatever Congress came back with, because he was that kind of president. So from my point of view, he was a very safe president for you guys to have, and it was another reason I was rooting for him.
Yeah.
So, are you guys digital pirates?
Oh, I am.
Right.
Yeah.
I think isn't everyone above the age of 16?
Nah, man, you'd be surprised. I'm shocked at how many people aren't still.
Yeah,
I heard a funny comment. Someone said that the reason why all this girly teenage music is so popular in the media, it's because teenage girls haven't figured out how to download stuff for free yet.
Funny. Did you guys get your copy of The Force Awakens yet?
I did right away.
No, I didn't. You got that already?
Oh yeah. It's out
been
now.
out. Yeah, it's been out for like 5 days, right?
Oh wow, I'll have to...
1080p.
1080p.
And you know what else?
What?
Deadpool.
Oh, is that him?
Oh wow.
Yeah, there's a rip of it.
Oh wow. I didn't know that. I'll be checking that out because I've seen Force Awakens about 8 times now, 7 times the Crapit Cam version, and now I've watched it. Now I've watched it, in the 1080p, and it's like a whole new movie. I could watch it 4 more times. I'm just a Star Wars freak.
It was good.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. They did a good job. I love the lightsabers. They're all you can see them burning, like flame coming off it.
Yeah, I like when Kylo Ren falls in the snow and you see the snow steaming because he puts the lightsaber on the snow. I like all that stuff.
You guys want to hear a messed up story? When I went to go watch Star Wars: The Force Awakens, I waited a whole year for this movie to come out. I even posted on Spiked how much I couldn't wait. I was like, yes, guys, it's only 400,000 more hours to go. So finally, I'm in the movie theater, and I'm super jazzed about watching the movie, and I'm kind of bored waiting for the movie to start. So I go on Spikednation, and I think it was Gloomstick or one of those guys. He posted a comment of the spoiler at the end, and it ruined the movie for me.
God, I remember you telling me about that. What a dick.
Yeah, it pissed me off, man.
A dick. And it was a monumental moment.
Yeah.
That you definitely didn't want to have spoiled.
Yeah, ruin it for me, man. Just ruin it for me. It actually wasn't Gloomstick, it was someone else, I forgot their name, but Gloomstick did post on there a spoiler as well. He spoiled it as well, but it wasn't him that ruined it. It was someone else's post I saw on there, man, that ruined it for me.
I wound up, it was my birthday, it came out December 18th, which is my birthday, and me and my brother, we went to go see it. We had tickets from the night before, and it wasn't assigned seating or anything like that, so we just had it in our minds that we had to get there early. Actually, the theater told us they recommended when we got the tickets, there was actually a recommendation to be there, at least 2 hours in advance, at least. And we get there, and we actually have a few drinks, more than a few drinks. We get nice and buzzed, and we get there 2.5 hours early, and there's no one there yet. About an hour later, a guy and his daughter shows up, and then 30 minutes later, a couple more people. There was only 8 people in line. We could have totally just showed up right before it started.
Well, at least you're a true diehard fan.
Fucking lawn chairs and shit.
Dude, I went to a yard sale a few years ago, and this dude sold me his whole set of Star Wars figurines from the 70s for $50, man. Yeah.
Oh.
You still have
Sure, at least.
In what condition?
Yeah, I still got them too.
What
Excellent condition.
Excellent?
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone's on there, man. Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, every single character you can think of from the 70s is in this big set. This guy
Are you
sold me.
serious?
Yeah, I don't know why he sold to me.
Treasure there.
Everything?
Yeah. Me and my friend were in this wealthy neighborhood, and the guy was having a yard sale, and I was like, "How much you want for this?" He's like, $50. I was like, "Okay."
Man,
I gave him $50. Yeah.
That sounds...
And I checked on.
It sounds like
I
the
checked
original
eBay.
Kenner set, maybe. The original Kenner set.
Yeah, I think it is the Kenner set.
Because when Star Wars came out, it was so big that they couldn't make the toys fast enough to get them done by Christmas. So what Kenner did is they sold a fold-out piece of cardboard that had the pictures of all the toys on them, and you could go and buy that, and you put it under the tree. Kids would open it, and it was a promise that as soon as they were able to, mold enough of these guys, you would get.
What?
Yeah, and people
I
bought
didn't know
them.
that.
People bought that stuff, man. Just the cardboard, just the piece of cardboard. So there's this kind of nostalgia, like the value is so high because of the story behind those sets and nostalgia. So Andy, you may have something that's worth quite a bit there.
Yeah, I know. Some of the figurines, if they're correct ones, that is, go for like $3,000.
You got Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba Fett's in there. Everyone's in there, man.
Everyone.
Everyone's in there. Yeah, it's badass,
Guido?
man.
You have Greedo?
I don't know if Guido's in there, man. I have to double check it. But it even had that elephant guy on the piano from the that one elephant character who plays piano inside. Yeah, even he's there, man. I was like, wow.
You got Lando?
Cool. I'm pretty sure he's there. Yeah. I gotta go check my.
When I was a kid, my best friends, Lenny and Larry Riley.
Yeah.
Their mom was Billy D. Williams' twin sister.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
Billy D. Williams' mom, which was their grandmother, lived with my friends. So their mom took care of her. And I'd go over there and I'd play with them all the time. I'd go over there, my little play dates or whatever, and play video game, Atari and all that other stuff. And Billy D. Williams would come over the house all the time. And it was so freaking bizarre because everybody loved Star Wars.
You probably were just for a kid. You were probably like, does everyone have a Star Wars actor like that they know?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was so bizarre. It was so cool. And he was a very cool guy. I remember my mom coming to pick me up, and he was there, and my mom acted ridiculous. It was so embarrassing. Like she all but freaked out, like she saw like someone with the Beatles crying over the Beatles or something.
Oh yeah, that would have been at the height of his fame.
Yeah, the original Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's cool. Empire Strikes Back was the first movie I ever watched in a theater. I was 4.5 years old. I remember it clearly. It was one of those. Yeah, it's one of those old double-decker theaters, and I was in the with my dad in the down on the bottom, in the middle near the front, and for 4.5-year-old first movie, that movie Empire Strikes Back.
Mind was blown, I bet.
Oh yeah, like I just remember parts like when Luke gets hit by that monster and Han finds him, and I remember the Tauntaun falls over and dies, right? And he goes, he takes the lightsaber and he cuts it open. And I remember looking at my dad going, why is he doing that? And then he explains it. He says, this will keep you warm until, the morning or whatever he says. And then I was like, oh, okay, never mind, Dad, I get it. Like you learn so much just, as a kid from a movie like that. You're like, okay, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
Even after seeing that and at the amount of wisdom that I have today, which I think it should be enough to survive, if I were in the freezing cold and I had a horse die while I was almost freezing to death, I don't think I would think to do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's got to be pretty desperate to do that.
Yeah, I'd probably freeze to death before I did that.
Yeah, I think it was.
You know what's...
Go ahead, Andy.
You know what's messed up? How did the Tauntaun die if he was still warm on the inside like that? I think they just do that for convenience.
I don't think he was dead yet, was he?
Well, I think even like a few seconds after, right up to the moment you die, even if you're hypothermic, you're still pretty warm as compared to the air outside. And I think your brain shuts down. Like everything starts shutting down from the outside in. I think your brain shuts down, then you die, but you still got a lot of warmth in the guts in there and in the organs. Yeah.
Now, is this something that people actually do? Or was
I'm
that
sure it's
just a
happened
Star
at least
Wars thing?
once, man. Maybe it's happened once, or maybe it just became a Star Wars thing. Who knows, man?
Is it a typical thing, or is it a Star Wars thing?
I think it's just a Star Wars thing, but I know in Rob Roy, when he's running from the bad guys, he's hiding from them, and he finds a dead cow or something near the river, and he cuts it open and he hides inside, not to keep warm, but just to hide. I think, I think the idea of hiding inside a carcass isn't new. I think that's been done before, but I think the idea of just hiding inside one to stay warm that was probably Star Wars came up with that.
And I never thought anyway. It just seemed so logical when he did that. Like, oh yeah, can't have him freeze to death.
Exactly.
Remember the girl that she was pretty hot too. Some chick, and her boyfriend took sexy pictures of her inside of a horse carcass.
No, I've never seen that.
Are you serious?
No.
Dude, Anthony,
Oh
that
my
sounds
God.
kind of. I don't know if I want to see something like that.
It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? And the horse was
Yeah.
freshly dead and bloody, and she was a hot chick, and she's smiling inside the.
There, that's twisted, man.
Is that like art? Is it like supposed to be art? It's like, look at this, what we do.
They must have been on some really good drugs, maybe.
Yeah.
I got an idea, baby. I got an idea.
Yeah, speaking of that, I just moved from Ottawa 3 months ago out here to Waterloo, and in Ottawa I had a guy I would get my green from, and his name was, believe it or not, my dealer for pot his name was Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, lead singer of the Doors, same name. And,
Wow.
Yeah, and that was his birth name. But I moved out here to Waterloo, and I've been dry. I've been smoke free for about 3 months, just because I'm always shy. I don't like. It's hard when you move to a new city, finding out who that reliable guy is that you're gonna be able to go see.
See the link I just sent you guys really quick.
Alright.
Oh.
Is that ridiculous?
Oh my God.
I sent these guys the link to the girl with the dead horse.
Oh my God. You know what's funny? Is right in the middle of all the pictures, there's a picture of Tom Green wrapped in a deer carcass.
Now look at the one. Look at the ones of her laying inside. She's smiling and shit, cuddling in the guts and everything.
It has to have been freshly killed, man, because you wouldn't. I mean, it would still be disgusting, even freshly killed. With the smell,
The smell would be Jeez.
Jeez.
God. She got a nice ass though, right?
I wonder if it's a anti-meat campaign, like something for that.
She's chewing on the liver or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I don't. Ooh. She's smiling.
Oh, there's a picture
dude,
of her.
That's either fake or really horrible, dude. Golly, man.
No, it's not fake. This was a humongous deal.
That's twisted, man. Oh, dude, Anthony, why'd you have to show me that, man?
He's gonna have nightmares now.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a picture of Daenerys eating the heart there from Game of Thrones. And there's a picture of the horse girl without all the blood on her, just her face. She's pretty hot. You're right.
Yeah, she's fucking cute, man. This is crazy.
People would
there's Leo from The Revenant. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw The Revenant. I loved it. I love that bear scene.
It was nothing else unlike anything I've ever seen.
It was
looked so real.
It was CG. It's the first CG thing I've ever seen where, even though I knew it was CG, I was like friggin' like backed up into my chair. Like I was just. Right. It was so real. It was crazy.
That was such a brutal, realistic-looking bear attack.
Yeah. Yeah, that movie was good. I don't know if he should have got the Oscar, but I think they gave it to him because they felt he should get one by now.
Yeah, you know what? Oscars is such bullshit. I knew all along, and I'm glad because Leo does deserve it. But I knew for sure, without a doubt, that this year they were giving it to him because now they feel it's time because what does it mean they feel it's time? Is he the best this year or not?
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's supposed to be about anyway.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but it's a total popularity contest.
So, I was saying we have a new prime minister up here now, Justin Trudeau, and he's promised to legalize weed once and for all up here in Canada, all across the nation. Looking forward to that.
Really?
I'm not a heavy smoker, but I'm someone who believes that the fact that it's been, I know the background, I know the history of why it was outlawed, and it's for such a stupid reason that the whole history of it is just a travesty. It's just hypocrisy,
Yeah, it's. I'm waiting for that to happen here. We're finally paying attention to the fact that the drug war was a lost cause, and there's people are really standing up and being activists when it comes to just trying to get rid of the drug laws, and definitely not imprison people for being on drugs.
Yeah, they hurt a lot of people with that.
Yeah. I do know that for weed here, I mean, obviously you can get a card and have it legally, but for those who don't, I mean, if somebody happens to get stopped, it's just an infraction.
Yeah.
They can pay for it in the mail. But nobody gets bothered for weed out here, though.
That's good. In Canada, for about 2 decades, it's been illegal on our books. And I'll tell you why. We tried to legalize it for 2 decades, and every time we tried, I lived in Ottawa, and every time we were about to do it, the ambassador from the U.S. to Canada would appear in our nation's capital's newspaper, and he would say the same thing every time. Well, you can go ahead and do that, but trade's going to cease. Everyone's not going to be able to get over the border. You're going to have a lineup, 2 days long at the border as we search every car. And they'd scare the crap out of our government so much that we would abandon it. So what we did instead is we left it as a law, but nobody enforced it. The cops just got the message. They just got it. And our cops can be pretty pragmatic. And if they caught you with, even a large amount, they just take it and go. They give you the wag of a finger and tell you to go home. So that's how it's been here for a long time.
Wow.
Dude, you know what? Me and Anthony are fortunate to live in California because it's so much of a better experience when you can get it in a legal fashion from a store. Because the assortment and when they have it organized by sativas and indicas and the various strains, a lot of dispensaries will also show the percentage of THC in there as well. For whatever it is you're buying, you can buy top shelf, mid shelf, private reserve, so many different kinds.
Edibles.
You can really have a tailored experience of what you want to enjoy.
Yeah, it's good. I have a pretty interesting story about coming down there for a business conference in Colorado. It was in Keystone. And I was in Colorado. I knew if I went to Boulder, I could probably get some. So I went down to Boulder there. And have you guys ever been to Boulder? It's
no.
In Nevada?
No, in Colorado, Boulder, Colorado.
I think I've driven through there.
It's quite the interesting city. They've got this creek that runs through it. Everything's green. Everything's kept green. And they've got all these hippie people that live sort of in the park and along the river. And so I went down there in my business suit, took off my jacket, and I went looking for a guy so I could get some. And I found a guy washing his hair in the river down. And so I came out and said, "Can you help me out?" And he said, "Yeah." He brought me over to his. He was living in a van, and we went in his van, and he sold me 3 grams, right? And I was there for a week. And this stuff, I didn't like when I went through the park, I saw people laying all over the place. They were all asleep, and I thought to myself, what are these people on, doing heroin or something? No, it's the weed there is ridiculously strong. It was so strong that I just smoked a bit, and it was too much for me. and I had to flush 2 grams of it down the toilet to catch my flight back to Canada. Because I'm not going to take it back on the plane, right? Because that'll get you totally bent. You'll get in big trouble. So I had to flush like most of it down the toilet. That's how strong it was there. And for me, it was too strong. It was it was just crazy. I couldn't move. I couldn't move off my bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun to me.
No, I don't like it. I don't like it either.
Unless you prepare ahead of time.
even then, I don't like the stuff that that if I take more than just a couple of hits, maybe that I'm wrecked and hating life.
Yeah.
I smoke some stuff that's just so strong that just
it's got you shaking in the corner,
Exactly, sweating and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like that. That's not what I smoke it for.
Right.
I read the reason for that is because there's 2 chemicals in weed. There's THC, but there's another chemical. The THC is a psychoactive and the psychotropic, sorry, and the other chemical is an antipsychotic. Both of them are in the plant, and when you smoke them, and those 2 chemicals are at equal balance, you have a nice, mellow, enjoyable high. But when the THC is at 100 and this other chemical's at like 10%, because they haven't been cultivating and boosting that side of it, that's the stuff that gets you shaking, cowering in a corner, wondering where the hell you are. And I never knew that. I didn't realize there were these 2 critical components. I spoke to my dealer, Jim Morrison, about it. He knew all about it. He has like 10 varieties. He's like, yeah, that's the stuff you don't like. That's this stuff. And he was telling me the different weights of the different 2 chemicals in each variety that he had. It was interesting. Yeah.
Wow. So, Skeptoid, since you've been active in Spikednation, who are some of your favorite Spike Nationals? Some of your favorite posters and commenters on the site?
I would have to say my favorite commenter. He doesn't post as much as he comments, and I think he spends a lot of time over at Reddit. But I really like Exploder.
Yeah, Exploder. I like him too, man.
I find him to be
really
someone you can have a reasonable and fruitful conversation with, even if he's sort of on one side of an issue and you're on the other. You can still have something productive in terms of a conversation with him. He's respectful, he's intelligent, thoughtful.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
I was just going to say that I guess other ones I like, Andy. I like Andy because when he showed up on the scene, I like that he used his name. I like that he posts his own like genuine Andy produced videos, and and even though they might not be as exciting as a bunch of Russians fighting on a dash cam, it's still genuine, and that genuine element for me adds a lot of value. So I like Andy. I like his comments.
Right.
Some of the guys I fight with, I like. Anthrax Cake gets on my nerves sometimes. Some of the debates we have, I feel like he's not engaging in the debate in a kind of honest way. But then I catch myself doing that sometimes. Anytime I get emotional, I find I can play my point, and I can kind of go over the top, and I kind of see.
I'll give you that.
Yeah. So I like Anthrax Cake. Generally, I just sometimes it gets me a bit frustrated. How do you say his name? Oculicity.
Oculicity.
Oculicity is an okay guy. I think he's a bit of a troll. He likes to troll. He even admits it. And with that whole
he admits that.
Yeah, he said it in a couple comments. He said, I come on Spike just to kind of toss the rocks around a bit, cause some trouble. But sometimes he's thoughtful, and reasoned and measured in what he's saying too. See, I can see the 2 sides of him. Sometimes.
He's a lot. That there's like a glimmer of that compared to how he normally used to be that way, and then he just slowly morphed into a prick.
Yeah, I see. I know what you're saying. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't know if you guys saw this, but when that Lavoy Finicum video went on that showed you what happened from their perspective, from inside the truck, when the FBI sort of ambushed them and started shooting all their bullets. And
Right.
he jumped out right away and put his hands up, and 2 bullets came through the side window, almost killing the woman and the daughter. You know, and then
Right.
he was, you know, doing his thing. You got to shoot me. You have to shoot me. And someone stepped out from the woods and shot him in the head. I was really upset because I have family members that are very much like those people that I
Right.
grew up with.
Was he like? Were they like sovereign citizens or something?
Yeah, they were. What they did is I'll tell you as quickly as I can. The federal government is what they've been doing is for bills that have been passed, environmental bills, other bills. Some bills have been passed where on the surface it seems like something about the environment, but underneath, when you read into the bill, it's actually about selling federal land to the Chinese. Because we're trying to make, I guess the government's trying to make more money. And what they'll do is they'll pass these bills and they'll come onto these ranchers' lands. And what they do is these ranchers don't own the lands per se, but they have what's called grazing rights, which means that it's a law that says that they have a history of having grazed and raised their cattle on those lands, which gives them a right to continue to do so. And what these bills do is they circumvent that historic law, and they say, no, this is now the federal government's land, we're seizing it from you. And that's what all that fight was with the Bundys, where they came and seized his cattle, and they took his cattle away, and then all these people showed up with guns, said, give him back his cattle, get off his land, and they actually backed down. Well, that's an extension of this. So what's happened in that area is all the traditional ranchers, almost all of them, they've sold their land, or they've left. They've decided not to fight, and they've just gotten out of there. And this last little group, they're the holdouts. They're the ones that, you know, on principle, Constitution, all that. They say, you know, we're not going anywhere. We're staying right here on our land. You're not taking. Yeah, you'll have to kill me, get me off this land. So, but they feel really oppressed, obviously. So what they decided to do, which wasn't very wise, was go find a piece of federal property and occupy it. So they went and they found this Bureau of Land Management building that was abandoned, essentially. There's no one there. They all went inside. They're all armed. They're always armed. People always say, you know, they stormed it armed. No, they're always armed. They always have like a sidearm or something with them. It's what they believe in. So they went in there and they sat down and they said, we're occupying this place. And they sat there for a while. And then Lavoy Finicum and a group of them wanted to travel to Grant County to meet with some local representatives of the local government. The sheriff agreed, said he would be there. And on their way from this building on public roads to this Grant County, that's where the FBI said, this is where we'll take them, this is where we'll ambush them. And they essentially set up a roadblock well ahead of time. Usually roadblocks are set up ahead of time, but usually in a crisis situation, like, oh shit, these guys robbed a bank or they shot some people and they're trying to get away, and they set up spike strips and they set up a roadblock. That wasn't the case here. It was they were monitoring them. They saw when they left. They saw when they got on the highway. They ambushed them. They started firing as soon as they came into view, and they basically just blew the guy away. Now, you know, so that's basically the rundown of it. What upsets me about it is I grew up with people like this who are very much, they have their principles and they want to abide by them, and they want to live their lives according to these principles. They want to be left alone, and so I identified pretty heavily with those guys. And so seeing them get shot to pieces like that, it's to hear the fear of the woman and the fear of that girl. See the bravery of Lavoy trying to just get the hell away from the car, so if they shoot anyone, it's him. It made me upset. It got me. I got emotional. And then Oculicity, he posted that video, and in his description he said, they're gun nuts anyway. I'm glad they're dead.
Say that.
It just set me off. That set me off in a bad state of mind, and that set me off, and I went a little overboard with my,
I gotta go look that up.
Yeah, with my attack. So
I really want to get him on here. I want to talk to him so bad. Yeah,
I mean, I apologized to him later because I actually said something like, you know, you goddamn this and that, and you're not supposed to say that. I have a Christian background, and I'm a very unusual. Like the things I've learned in my life, I'm not your typical Christian. Most Christians would probably, I'd probably be in more danger in a room full of fundamentalist Christians than I would be in a room full of atheists if I were talking about what I believe. So I'm not like a Bible thumper or a fundamentalist, but I do still believe that it's wrong to ever imply that someone's damned to hell. I don't even think the place exists, but it's just that's what cursing really is. It's not saying fuck or shit. It's saying damn you, you know, and that's really bad from in my neck of the woods. You're not supposed to do that. So I apologize to him for that, and he accepted my apology. I actually heard on the last podcast you guys were talking about one or both of you had a background at being raised as Jehovah's Witnesses. I think
both of us,
both of you, and I had some friends in school that were Jehovah's Witnesses too. And they, it was really unfair the way where I come from in Canada, it's not real, we don't have a lot of religious fanaticism here. We don't have a lot of really true believers. And, so if you are one, it can really single you out, in a school. I don't know if that was the experience you guys had.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You know, say there was a little Christmas program that was going on where they had you know, your class was involved in singing a certain Christmas song or something. You sat in the library or something from the other kids.
Well, when the Canadian national anthem would come on, you'd have to step out of the room, and people noticed that. It almost forces you into being ostracized, and then once you're ostracized,
no time for that.
No, that's really nasty stuff. And so I always felt bad for him, and I befriended him, and I tried to, you know, he tried to be as friendly to me as he could, given, you know, the rules of the religion, as you guys, you know them much better than I do. So
yeah, you know what's crazy too with that, you guys, it came up in the United States that people wanted to have prayers in school, you know, and some parents said no, I don't want that. So they said, well, okay, if your kid doesn't want to do it, they can just leave and go to a different room, just like what they were doing in Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, it's interesting.
But then they're like, no. They're like, no, we can't have this law because that's too much for a kid to try and comprehend. Like, why am I being put in another room?
Yeah, it doesn't really have a place there. I mean, I agree. I mean, I don't think that it has a place. I don't think they should be making people or encouraging people to pray or not to pray or doing any of that stuff in an elementary school.
No, that wasn't my point. My point was that they didn't want children to feel ostracized.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. As soon as you bring that in, it creates two sides of something.
Yeah, let's just say you don't want your kid joining a prayer, or you do want your kid joining a prayer. The reason why I decided not to go with it was because they thought it was too much on a kid to be removed like that. And so if you're raised Jehovah's Witness, like what happened to me and Anthony, the stuff we went through as children, it's too much on you.
I know.
You just don't know what's going on. That you're constantly being put out of the classroom by yourself. You know.
Yeah. And what about birthdays? There's no acknowledgement of our birthdays growing up as a kid.
Birthdays, sex ed, Christmas, Halloween. You ain't invited.
You didn't do sex ed?
No, we're not allowed to do that, man.
Your parents didn't sign it?
Nope.
You want to hear something funny? I went to a French immersion school in Canada near I grew up in Ottawa. It's right on the Quebec border, and we have these French schools where they send English kids so they can learn French. And so our sex ed class was in French. So you're a kid, you don't know much about this, right? Or you do, or you don't. And then they start teaching it to you in French, which you're English, so it made it twice as confusing. You learn all the French words for everything. Yeah, it was weird.
I hope there's a lot of illustrations.
Yeah.
Napalm and let's see here. Napalm PGFL 1988. They really want in on too right now.
Okay.
All right, sounds good, man.
All right, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
All right, man. Later. Bye, guys.
Talk to you later.
I just met the most marvelous bunch of niggers. the most marvelous bunch of...